All right, friends, this is Jimmy Maverick. I'm going to go on a little rant right now, and I'm going to talk about how the Yahoo Draft Board is designed to trip you up on draft day by giving you bad pieces of information and that can really mess up a draft. And I'm going to explain how they do it. Now, the first thing I want you to look at is obviously the X rank. This is, the Yahoo Top 300 list. And let me just say, this ranking list is completely arbitrary. It's not based on any logic or formula or anything like that. It's just basically what the people at Yahoo think the order of the players should be in. And this kind of defines the order that the players come off the board. All draft boards are like that, okay? When you look at my app, which is My Perfect Fantasy Draft, one of the things that I have listed, the first column is what I call EDP, expected draft position. This is actually my algorithm for calculating when players are coming off the board. And it's based off of all right, so going back to my expected draft position, this is basically calculated off of how players are actually getting picked, and not just how they're actually getting picked, but how they're actually getting picked like right now, not last week, not last month. This is when the players are coming off the board, and even though it somewhat mirrors the X rank list, it's not an exact, all right? But mine's going to be more accurate as to tell you when players are going off the board. The next thing they do to trip you up is they have this rank column. And this is essentially the same as my value column on my app, but there's one key difference. And if you look at it, you'll see, looking at the top, look at the rank value versus the order that the players are listed in. How are you supposed to tell if that guy's a good value, is undervalued relative to his draft position, or overvalued or fairly valued relative to their draft position? They basically just did a straight up rank, including like all the quarterbacks. And of course, quarterbacks are the highest scoring player in the game. So of course, if you sort it by this rank column, it's all quarterbacks at first. And you've got to go way down the board before you get people who aren't quarterbacks on the list. Now that just messes up the whole list for the whole thing. In my app, I've actually made accommodations for the defenses and the quarterbacks because they're selected differently than all the other players. When you look at quarterbacks, I've set their value rank equal to their expected draft position. So you know when those players are coming off the board. Same with the defenses. So you know when to target those players. But all the other values are calculated and ranked according to how many points they score. So for the running backs, the wide receivers, and the tight ends, you are going to be able to see really easily, Kareem Hunt, his value is 15th, but his draft position is 8th. That means he's slightly overvalued. You go way deep into this draft board, into the hundreds here, you can see Emmanuel Sanders offers fantastic value relative to his draft position because his value rank is high. Okay, now we're actually kind of doing a live draft here, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pick someone. Let's go ahead. We're going to take yeah, I'll take Kareem Hunt. Okay, so anyway, so jumping back, but you could also see there's players that are horribly overvalued. Like look right here, C.J. Anderson. His value was 150th, but he's coming off the board 108th. So he's overvalued relative to his draft position. He's a player you should avoid. All right. Now the third thing that can trip you up is the ADP column, and a lot of people think, well, I'll just go by ADP. Well, the problem with ADP is this is a cumulative score since they set up the draft boards back in, I think they opened them up in June. And so what happens is if a player has a relatively stable value, like someone like Julio Jones, the ADP is a pretty accurate number. But what about a player like Royce Freeman, who was way down the draft list, but then preseason started, he's having a great preseason, training camp, he had a great training camp, so he's been moving way up the draft board. And if you look on my app and we look for Freeman, there's Devonta. I need the next one. Where's Royce? Royce is currently at 44th. That's where his expected draft position is right now on Yahoo. That's where he's being taken. Let's look at Royce on the draft board and see what his ADP is. His ADP is 80th. All right, that's because there was like thousands and thousands of drafts that took place, and Royce was taken probably in the 120s, 130s, 140s, but now he's being taken in the 40s. But the thing is, because it's cumulative, it's behind. And so if you judge, on these players that are rapidly moving up or down the board, they're going to trail where they're actually taken. And you're going to end up taking players that are rapidly moving down the board too early. And then you're going to miss all the players that are rapidly rising up the board because they're going to be gone by the time you're looking at them, because their ADP says it's so much farther down than when they're actually being selected. So again, this is why it's important. This is why, part of the reason why I designed my app. And this is designed to help you really nail down the best players at each and every round of the draft, and knowing when you need to take players at each and every round of the draft, so you can target properly and make the strongest choice. I like to say that most people think that the fantasy football draft list is one list of like 300 players, and you get to pick 15. But I say it's not actually like that. It's actually 15 different lists, one list for each round of the draft. Your job is to pick the strongest player in each of those rounds. That's how you build a championship team. And that's why you need my app. So I invite you to go to my website, ffmaverick.com, and sign up for an account. You can utilize a free restricted version of this app. And if you like it, subscribe to it, use it in all of your draft leagues. You are going to find yourself drafting much, much stronger. And it's very easy to do. So check it out today. Thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate it.